You carried a dying king across the bones of a dying world. Now you stand before what started it all, an idea. I am the reason there must be an ending. I do not guide. I do not judge. I exist so that something can be chosen. I do not offer meaning. I require that one be made. You have brought all things to their conclusion. Now, decide what must remain. Choose, and let the shape of the world follow.
Was ist, wenn ich Orins Weg wähle?
You will vanish into the story you chose to restore.
Was ist, wenn ich Karadox Weg wähle?
You will break the frame, and what follows will not remember you.
Was ist, wenn ich die Seele des Königs für mich beanspruche?
You will be seen. You will be followed. You will be blamed.
Was ist, wenn ich die Seele des Königs weitergebe?
You will shape the world to become its witness.
Was, wenn ich die Lebensspindel benutze, die der Weber mir gegeben hat?
He shall find his way home. The tear between the worlds shall close.
Okay, hier haben wir mehrere Varianten. Ist nicht das gleiche hier? Also die Lebensspindel zu benutzen klingt eigentlich auch ganz gut. Dann wird die Wildnis weg sein und werden nur noch Menschen hier bleiben, wenn ich das richtig verstehe. Die Magie wird dann verschwinden. Und wenn wir die Seele weitergeben, dann wird die Welt so zu magischer Welt. Und die Menschen können dann aber auch noch drin leben. Mit der Wildnis und den ganzen Kram drumherum. Was ist das für eine Variante? Ich denke darüber nach, die Seele weiterzugeben.
Who do you have in mind?
Auf jeden Fall nicht ein Auge. Wer ist für Nola? Das weiß ich gar nicht mehr. Ivain, Erfir, Niante. Ich möchte die Seele weitergeben. Oder die Lebensspindel benutzen. Ich mach mal erstmal das hier, dann haben wir die normale Welt wiederhergestellt.
Then the prince will ascend and return to his mother. The heart shall cease its bleeding. Through his ascension, the weirdness will be tamed.
No, I won't let this happen. Not again.
Ja gut. Sie ist unsterblich. Wird jetzt einfach wieder erwachen.
You uncovered the truth buried in the weirdness and used it to return Arthur to where he truly belonged, ending the cycle and securing Avalon's future. The four-dweller mother's heart, no longer bleeding, sealed the wound in the world, and with it, ended the Red Death that had stolen so many lives.
Stimmt, das auch.
And so, the legend of King Arthur began to fade. In its place grew a stronger Avalon, where the weirdness was no longer feared, but understood. With One Eye and Captain Brandon working side by side, the South found a peace it hadn't known in years. The roads stayed open, the fields were guarded, and the people finally felt safe. No longer bound to Camelot or the Knights of the Round Table, it became a land ruled by its own people on its own terms. The men here stayed in König, but Yvain failed to rally the minds and hearts needed for his Grail quest. With no clear leaders and rising tension, both König and Camelot grew fragile, drifting toward division, with no one left to hold the line. You awakened the giants, only to command their end, leaving no power behind for either side to claim. Without their strength, the balance held, but the divide between Camelot and the Dal Rita remained, wide, bitter, and far from settled. Fergus was named the new Galahad the Loyal. With One Eye and Brandon unable to rally the Dal Rita of the Forlorn Swords, the South remained divided. Fergus prepared Camelot's forces to reclaim the region by strength, determined to restore unity through conquest if necessary. The captain led the South to independence, breaking all ties with Camelot. Under his rule, the horns of the South flourished. Merchants, pilgrims, and adventurers returned to the roads, and prosperity once again reached the far corners of the land. One Eye ruled the South with the horns of the South at his side. The Dal Rita, the Forlorn Swords, remained divided, leaving the South strong but isolated. Without wider unity, his rule endured for a time. The future beyond his leadership remained uncertain. Nianta left König with Yvain, and her fate remained unknown. Yet among the people she once served, tales of her devotion and courage endured, and her name was remembered with respect. Maggot chose to remain in König, and the people stayed with him. Over time, they grew to trust him and often sought his wisdom. In time, he took on an apprentice, planting the first seeds of a new druidic tradition. Œuvre left König alongside Yvain, despite concerns about his age. His fate remained unknown, but the people admired him for finding purpose at the end of his life, and spoke of him with lasting respect. Ailey turned to the merchants for support, and for a time the hospital prospered. But when they began charging patients for care, she walked away and opened her own small practice, refusing to serve profit over healing. The Volker joined the rest of the Dal Rita without a matron and without Mathar's blessing. Even so, their warriors kept the ferocity they had once been famed for, tempered now by a clarity that left the other tribes uneasy. They were respected, but only barely. For what greater dishonor is there than turning one's back on the goddess who had made them what they were? Ingui turned away from the eternal sleep, choosing life over dreams. In time, she began to rebuild the Thoid among the living, planting the first seeds of a new future for her scattered people. Under Stronner's leadership, the Ulfra found new strength. He rebuilt the tribe and reunited them with the rest of the Dal Rita, restoring their place among the tribes of the Forlorn Swords. Following Galerna's path, the Sven clung to the old ways, their faith sustained by the Stagfather's living presence within the unrealm of the hunt. They turned inward, shunning outsiders, and deepened their devotion to the blood-stained rites of their ancestors. You chose to free the Four-Dwellers, but captivity had broken their minds. They turned on their savior and were slain. Without the song, the Stone Warden craft ended, and their legacy was lost with the death of the last of their order. After returning to Camelot, Killian lived quietly for a time. When he vanished, few asked questions. Unsettling rumors had always followed him, and most preferred not to remember. O Queen Cinnamon Sage never forgot the bond he shared with you. Proud of the path you chose, he built a small shop near your grave, and in quiet moments, still spoke to you as he once did. A friend loyal beyond the bounds of life.
So. Dann möchte ich die Seele weitergeben.
Who do you...
Niente.
She would lead through care and reverence would rise, but so would the silence around. He would trade crowns for a world ruled by law, not lineage. He would build a world with no kings. Work would shape worth, but power does not disappear. It adapts. He would rule through law, not command. He would listen, if he understands. He would dissolve the old and raise the tribes, a new law written in old blood. She would merge what is with what waits. The weirdness calms, but not all will follow what becomes.
Okay, ich gebe das an Fionnuala weiter.
Then the idea shall develop, its shape intact, its path redirect, but the soul is not yet yours to give. First, you have to bring silence to what refuses to be forgotten.
If this is what you want, then so be it. Take the soul, my friend. And I hope you're sure of the person you want to put this burden onto. No, I won't let this happen. Not again.
Okay, okay. Netter Versuch.
You think any other human could wield this power? I endured 600 years of pain, of suffering, of loneliness. I made the sacrifices, me! And now you think you can take it from me? The hubris. No. I reject your claim. I will reforge Avalon. Perfect this time.
Mal gucken, ob der stärker ist. Oh ja, ein bisschen schon.
You gave the soul to another, not to escape its weight, but because you believed they could carry it. One person, chosen by you, to bear the burden and to shape what comes next. Whatever future rises from their rule will bear your seal, for it was your will that set it in motion. Without the power of Arthur to sustain you, your body fell back into the endless rot of the Red Death. With only a few weeks of life remaining, you withdrew into isolation, finding a quiet place from which to watch the kingdom you had helped forge anew. You entrusted Arthur's soul to Fionola, and under her vision, Avalon embraced the calmed weirdness and the new life it offered. Many accepted the change, merging their flesh with the unknown. But not all followed, and a quiet resistance grew among those who feared what they might lose.
So, ich will die Seele selbst behalten.
Then the idea shall be claimed, its shape worn, its burden made yours. But first, you have to bring silence to what refuses to be forgotten.
If this is what you want, then take it, my friend. But promise me you will learn from my mistakes.
No, I won't let this happen. Not again.
Okay, das hätten wir.
You think any other human could wield this power? I endured 600 years of pain, of suffering, of loneliness. I made the sacrifices, me! And now you think you can take it from me? The hubris. No. I reject your claim. I will reforge Avalon. Perfect this time.
Mhm. Oh, leicht Richtung 14. Oh, der hier Schildträger, ne?
You took Arthur's power for yourself. Whatever drove you, need, ambition, or will alone, the strength of a king was now yours to command. Maybe you weren't ready. Maybe nobody ever is. But you decided to try. It's a heavy thing, trying to do right where others have failed. Still, you stepped forward, carrying the soul and every choice that brought you here. You ruled not as Arthur reborn, but as yourself, flawed, resolute, untested. Avalon changed beneath your hand, and history will decide what that truly meant.
So, dann möchte ich mal Karadok folgen.
Then the idea shall fall, its weight discarded, its rule denied. But the soul is not yet yours to give. First, it must be purified of what still speaks through it.
Thank you. But promise me, you will win this fight, my friend.
Kein Problem.
After everything you've seen, you side with Caradoc. Then all the suffering, all the pain, meant nothing. I am disappointed. Now I am complete. Avalon will be reborn. Perfect this time.
Ja, Caradoc kämpft jetzt mit mir. Oder hat er gar keine Chance? Also ich meine, hatten die auch vorher nicht, aber jetzt noch weniger. Wo ist der Caradoc hin? Okay.
You brought down the cycle with steady hands and no promise of glory. You did not claim the throne. You buried it. There is no king now. Only the truth you made and the path others may follow. You had no answers, only scars and the will to keep walking. And sometimes that was enough to keep others going too.
Ich möchte Orin folgen.
Then the idea shall endure, unquestioned, repeated, secured by return.
I begged you not to do this. I begged you.
'No, I won't let this happen. Not again.'
Eins gegen eins, okay.
Through your sacrifice, the king returned, entire, unbroken, and ready to reclaim his throne. You held faith that Avalon's fate still turned with him, that one last rising could bring balance to the broken land. Now he rules again, and the world bends to the weight of your choice, for salvation or for ruin. You gave everything to restore the king, and your journey ended with his return. Closing your eyes upon the sight of Arthur's triumph, you felt no regret, only the certainty that your final choice had been the right one.